Jessica. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our kitchen, and this is the half pint soup. As I've probably mentioned before, my husband's parents are from Syria and Egypt, so I have learned how to make all kinds of different recipes from that part of the world. So today we're going to be making homemade hummus and meat stuffed grape leaves. Are you ready? Okay, the first thing we're going to do, we have a pound of ground beef. You can use ground lamb, but I always use ground beef. We have a cup of rice that I soaked in water to get some of the excess starch off and then rinsed it off. So add the rice to the meat. Okay. There we go. Okay. We have 2 tablespoons of butter. That help the meat really moist. You don't have to pick it up with your finger. You can just dump it in there. Okay. Glad we washed your hands first. Now you have to wash them again. Okay, so you're gonna add 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. You can't have any Arabic food without tons of garlic. And then we have a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of black pepper. Dump that in there. There you go. Now, you're gonna stick your hands in there. So we're gonna mix all of that together. The next thing we're gonna do, whether you use jarred grape leaves or fresh grape leaves, which I use jarred grape leaves, you have to boil them in water for about 40 minutes first. So we've got our pot, the water's almost ready. We're gonna boil those grape leaves for about 40 minutes while we mix the mixture. So what we're gonna do is show you how to roll these Arabic style grape leaves. And I say Arabic style because you can find these like in Greek restaurants, but the Greek version of it, they're filled usually just with rice, and they are rolled looser and they're a little bit fatter, and they're served cold. Arabic style grape leaves, they're rolled really, really tight like tiny little cigars, and they have meat and rice in them, and they're served hot, and they're so good. So I need you to give me, take 1 grape leaf at a time. If it has a little stem on the end, break that off because you don't want to eat the stem. Hand me a little bit of that meat. There we go. So the camera's not really close. You're gonna make a little log of meat like that. Then you're gonna roll over each end. I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing. You're gonna roll over each end like this. And then you roll it up just like a little like tiny burrito.
That's early.
Yep. So it looks like that. So it's really tight, like you wanna roll it as tight as you can. And then you just put those on a separate plate somewhere, and then you do that like 567,000 more times. And then we can cook. So after we've rolled all of the leaves, we have a giant plate of leaves all rolled up. In the rolling process, a lot of the leaves are gonna some of them are flimsy and they're gonna get torn. And you can't use them to roll, but what you want to do is take those that didn't make it through the rolling process and line the bottom of your pot with them. Here, you want to stick those in the bottom of the pot? Stick those down there in the bottom of the pot. So that way when we're cooking them, they don't get burned and they don't get stuck on the bottom. So lay that flat on the bottom of the pot. If you have a bunch of leftover leaves, you can freeze them for about a month in a Ziploc bag. And you used to have to go to like a Mediterranean store or a Middle Eastern store to find the grape leaves, but now you can find them more and more in places like Publix and Ingles. One thing I forgot to mention, when you're rolling them, just like any leaf, there's clearly a side that's got like the veins in it, and then the other side doesn't. So when you're rolling them, you want to put vein side up so that gets rolled up on the inside so that the outside of the leaf is smooth. I did forget to say that when I was rolling them. So you want to get kind of a good layer down here. Now that we have that lined on the bottom, you're just going to layer these in the bottom of the pot really snug, really close together. You can see how you're lining those in the pot, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. That is what they look like when they're in the pot. You try to get them smushed in there as closely together as you can without breaking them. What you're gonna do, you're gonna take, I see you. We're gonna take plates that are smaller than the circumference of the pot and put them down. There you go, on top. Excellent.
Last one.
Good job. So then you're going to add water.
Over those plates.
Yeah.
Is it hot?
Not yet. You don't want the water to cover the plates.
Can I taste the water?
And you're gonna add salt
Why do we
just around the edge.
Why do we add pepper?
It's about a half a teaspoon of salt. Then you're going to place something heavy. I always use like one of these large cans.
I can do
Set that on there. That holds them in place so they don't move. And then you're going to turn the heat on to medium and let that cook for 40 minutes. Okay, so now that has cooked for 40 minutes, we're gonna take the can off. We're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And then we're going to leave the can off, but we're gonna add the lid and let that continue to simmer on medium-low heat for another 40 minutes. Okay, so that is cooked for another 40 minutes, but you're gonna turn the heat off and let it sit for 15 minutes before you do anything with it. And while that sits, we'll make the hummus. You let these set for 15 minutes. You can see that there's, maybe you can see that they're steaming. I cover it with lemon juice because they can't be too lemony. It tastes so good. Just squeeze some fresh lemon juice is better, but in a pinch, this will do to cover. So now we're gonna make our hummus. We're gonna start with a can of chickpeas. You're going to drain out the liquid, but reserve it because you need it. So pour that liquid, pour those chickpeas into the Ninja.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna add the liquid back in about half. We're gonna use about half of it. So hummus is something that's all about texture and taste, which varies from person to person. So I'm gonna give you the baseline of what to start with, and then you can make change. You can adjust it to make changes. So you're gonna want to put the liquid about halfway up on the chickpeas. So we have our tahina. So we're gonna start with tahina. We're gonna start with 1/4 cup of that.
Can I do it myself?
Yep, pour that in. 1/4 cup of tahina. Good job.
What is that?
That is 1/8 cup of lemon juice. So add your lemon juice.
I thought we squeeze it.
Yeah, we squeezed it and measured it out. 1/8 cup of lemon juice. Then we're gonna add 2 cloves of garlic, which is more garlic than what most people do. My sister-in-law adds more lemon than I do, and I add more garlic than she does, but they're both equally as good.
He loves your food.
Huh?
He loves your food.
Then give me a couple of shakes of salt in there. Gotta add the salt. Okay, so it's very important for this. It's okay. Very important for this that you mix it and then taste it and see what it needs.
What? All right.
Do its thing. So now we're gonna taste it. It's rare that you get it perfect on the first try, though I have done it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You can taste it. I think it's perfect. So 2 things you should know. If you want it, when you mix it the first time, if you want it to be thicker, add more tahina. And if you want it to be thinner,
Yummy.
it's yummy. If you want it to be thinner, then add more of the juice that you strained off of the chickpeas in the beginning. And then you can add salt and lemon if you want it more lemony, if you want it saltier. But I think that's perfect. You just top it with a little bit of olive oil. You can leave it out for several hours and then you need to refrigerate it.
Everything is fine.